in back and then in front.
I was wondering whether you looked into the lactose intolerance case at all, because lactose intolerance develops as we grow older to 70% of Caucasians and Asians. Northern Europeans have developed a genetic ability to keep the lactase enzyme until they are old. But for the rest of us, that is not the case. It's very, very difficult to live in a world where lactose creeps into every product, even bread, even juice. And it's very difficult to persuade doctors that it can cause health, because it's not a health problem, because it's not an allergy. It's something that gets you to be tired, like chronic fatigue syndrome. So it's much more difficult. But
yeah, well, lactose intolerance, as we call it now, fits into that large category of here we are, of chronic food allergies, which would if you're an allergist, you'd probably call them intolerances now. So lactose intolerance, gluten intolerance, other intolerances as well. And it really, and this is, I think, is really interesting. A lot of it boils down to how do you define an allergy. In 1906, Clemens von Perquet coined the term allergy as any type of delay or any type of altered biological reactivity. A very wide definition. And some allergists liked having that wide definition, and things like lactose intolerance or other intolerances all fit into that for them. Whereas more orthodox allergists kept on narrowing the definition, and in 1967, when we have the discovery of IgE, they say that's what we're looking for. If you can't find it, it ain't an allergy. And that is really, so you have these polarized notions of allergy, when in actual fact, it's a lot more complicated than that. And so that's part of it. And I think you're right. If you're suffering from an anaphylactic milk allergy, so like Sabrina, you're going to be treated a lot more seriously than if you're suffering from some sort of intolerance, not a true food allergy. The terminology is really important, and the words that are used are really important. There are articles, especially involving medical articles targeting children and their allergies and their dislikes. And you even get those sort of words coming in. They're not intolerant, they're not allergic, they just dislike these sort of foods. And how do you convince kids to, get over their dislikes? So you're right. There are different grades of allergy patients.
One last question.
Oh, that's just one remark with peanuts. It doesn't cost anything for the stadium to ban it.
No. Well, it probably saves them money from having to sweep all the damn shells up afterwards.
But it's a very positive image of how they are caring
Yes.
for their customers.
Yeah.
So they gain a lot and they lose nothing.
Yeah. And
It's a completely different framework
yeah.
of action than banning other things.
Yeah, and I think that's an really interesting point to make, is that, we're all taking the hit for the poor little boy who's scared of the peanuts. And I think that's an interest, there's sort of a good Samaritan idea that's going along, which I think some people feel, they feel kind of good about that, being able to reassure this little guy. Now, he might get smoked in the head by a rock thrown by some drunken guy, but that's at the game. But that's something else. So,
thank you, Matt, very much.
Thank you.
Well,